puts them down into a list of applications or something. A more digestible list, I'll say, than just taking the notes and copying and pasting them together.
Right. There you go, guys. There's some incentive. Thank you, Wes, for the email. Last email of the day is from OD. Hello, Steve and Dor. Just listened to episode number 65, and I have to say that just listening to Steve's comments... I got another one. I think I got another positive one here. Just listening to Steve's comments, you can tell he has learned a lot from doing this show with Dor. Steve's best comment was during the, quote, choose choice before you have no choice segment. Steve gets it. Techie geeks are caught up in their free is free rant do not get it. Okay. Steve hit it on the head with his comments about people who do not care if it's locked down or restricted because they only want it to be easy and just work. Apple does the thinking for you and you just use it. Think about it. The typical user is in heaven with an iPad. They are not geeks. Typical users and geeks are two very different animals. Dor later on says you need to keep learning. This is very true. Now, if we can get Dor to use an iMac and run it through its paces just like he does with a new distro, I'm sure Dor would see it from another perspective besides being on the outside looking in view. I'd love
to see that.
I used to be just like that, and if it was not Windows or Novell, it was not worthy of my time. Oh, stupid me. Now I try to get my grubby little hands on everything I can. My perspective is very different from my short-sighted, my dog is better than your dog days. Techies are the ones dual booting their laptops, rooting their cell phones, and rooting any other devices they could get their hands on. Typical users could care less. Thanks for the great show. See you in the lug. OD. P.S. So not just to pick on Dor. Steve, are you going to do your show? Are you doing your shows on using only Linux yet? Are you eating your own dog food, so to speak? Podnutz Pro rocks. Later, guys. This is from OD. No, I'm not using Linux on my machines. I'm not. I have a setup. It has software on it. Everything works. And for me to unmock that would be a project for... If I didn't do Podnutz for a couple weeks and set it all up in Linux, I probably could do it. But I got a working system now, guys. I'm just going to use it for a while. But I could probably do what I have with Ardor. And what's the Linux broadcaster? OpenShot or something? No, not OpenShot. Webcam Studio. But I can't broadcast to Justin on that. I can't.
Nobody can use Webcam Studio.
Really? So
yeah,
it's the software's not there for me yet, I don't think. So that's my justification.
Yeah, I'll say I've looked for years, okay? Even Linux shows that are broadcasting video and making money off of it are using Windows to do their broadcasting.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah.
And that's the God's honest truth. The one piece of software that I think Linux lacks for me to use everything Linux is broadcasting software.
Right.
And, you know, there are things out there on Windows, utter ripoffs as far as I'm concerned, $800, $1,000. I would happily, if I had the money, have a Kickstarter and pledge $100, $200 for someone to create a Linux broadcasting application. And there's no doubt in my mind, if someone would say, here's a Kickstarter for it, that thing would make buckets of cash.
Mm-hmm.
I agree, dude. That's a great idea.
I know, but I take a risk because I ain't got no money.
I want to start a Kickstarter to get Dor to use an iMac.
First off,
I agree.
Okay. First off, this house is too new to have closets big enough to where I can hide a desk and a Mac. Because I would feel kind of shameful.
Dude, you have to use a Mac. You have to at least once in your life. You have to sit down and have a Mac and use it for at least a year.
So I guess I got to go through college campuses and break into someone's car because I surely can't afford one of them.
Jonathan just said he started a Kickstarter.
Hey, I used the Mac back in like 1985. I wasn't impressed with them.
Yeah, actually, the last time I used one, it was a Macintosh 2, Apple II, maybe,
yeah,
not a Lisa.
Yeah.
No, that goes back to the comment I was telling you about before, Steve. You know, about people thinking Linux is just like this command line thing. Like I used an Apple 25 years ago. I wasn't impressed. But
no.
But isn't there kind of an unspoken rule? I mean, you hit all these, people that use Macs, they say like it's the, it's the greatest thing ever, and you would think like there's never any problems, but is it like an unspoken thing for Mac people to never admit like it crashes or something went wrong? Is it like
Beach
an
balls.
unspoken rule?
I guess so, but they rarely crash. They are really stable. I mean, I remember before I tried a Mac, I just had no reality on it. And until I owned a MacBook and then an iMac and a Mac Mini, I could speak about it. And I still use all the systems. They're all open on my desk. But
Yeah.
I have the reality on the Mac now, and there's a lot of positive things about it, especially for the common user. It really is. So I was really happy with my Mac experience. The fact that it's not free software and stuff, that sucks. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, but as far as like if I was just looking at it objectively as how good is this operating system without any like attention being put on if it's free, what's the license or anything, it's a good OS and it's stable, and I like the Apple hardware. So at least I have the viewpoint now. So I think it's a great idea to start a Kickstarter to get Door at iMac. That's a great idea. I might actually do that, Door.
Oh, okay.
We might have to put
As long as I can dual boot. That's the caveat.
Okay.
Or run a VM, one or the other.
Okay.
Yeah, you can. Yeah, it has Parallels or whatever, or VMware. You
I
can
ain't
run.
buying Parallels. You crazy?
Well, that was an email from OD. Anybody have any comments on this email from OD? I mean, he hit on some points here, but okay.
Yeah, he's a really good guy. He patronizes. I don't know if that's the right word. The Linux Basics LPI admin class. Honestly, smart guy, and obviously has real world insight to things.
Yeah.
By the things he's saying.
Yeah. I mean,
Mac.
he is. I know. But he is right. When we talked about the iPads, people love, like normal people just love it because it just does work. It works, and they don't have to be a geek to use it. So, like I talked about Jonathan with this at the beginning of the show. It's being a geek so long, I lose reality on what it's like to not be one. And I think that if you look out of the eyes of a non-geek, they just love Apple. They just love Apple because they can relate to Apple, you know?
I guess I only have two quick things. Like the whole it just works. I understand people say that, but does it just work when you can't do something you want to do on it?
Yeah, but Jonathan, we talked about this in an earlier episode. The people that use it, like the normal people, it does everything and more that they want to do. There is no, when I want to do this, it doesn't do it. For most people, these things do everything they could possibly think a device could do and more. So they haven't gotten to that point yet where they want more or they think something could do more. That's the way I look. That's the way I look at it.
Well, and that's the.
Go ahead.
No, I'll just say that's the total irony aspect of this and Macs. Their big commercial back in the 1984 Super Bowl where they're throwing the hammer through the big screen, Big Brother kind of thing.
Yeah.
That's who they are now. They are that controlling empire. You know, you will do this my way or no way. You know, that's what they are.
Yeah.
Just saying.
And my only other thing is this is all from, my morals or beliefs or, how I feel about software and freedom and whatever. The only thing that bugs me, and this is why I would never use an Apple product or buy one and have never seen one since 1985, is a good portion of the reason why Mac OS is great and iOS is great is because they built on top of BSD, which is built like a rock. They took that code, and then since the BSD license allows this, they took the code, they threw a bunch of black magic on top of it to pretty it up and make it, look more presentable to the normal person. They took everything, the stuff they got for free and the stuff that they created, wrapped it all up in a nice, tight, neat package, and no one can now see what they did. No one knows what changes they made. Technology will not and cannot advance the way they did it, and they're in complete control over everyone that uses their products and uses their software, and nothing can be done about it.
Well, that sounds like it's true. It really does.
And maybe it is great. I'll never know. I won't use it because of what I believe in, and that's for me. I'm not saying anyone that does use a Mac is, stupid or whatever, but I'm just saying this is why I choose not to use that hardware or software or support a company that does that.
Right. That makes sense, Jonathan. I mean, you have that insight. 99%, I think, of people don't. But you,
Right, which again, I guess again, full swing comes back to the GNU Linux Fest is we want to show people what can be done. People don't realize, how many people that fix like PCs, like that get people that get viruses, they just think, well, this is how it is. Every 3 months, I'm bombarded with viruses and spyware, and I gotta get it cleaned out.
Exactly.
I gotta buy a new computer every 2 years. Every year, this is just how it is.
That's how it is.
And it's not. Like that's the thing, ignorance isn't bliss. Ignorance can be harmful, and I mean, not that it's physically harmful.